Hi, this is Editing Emily from the future, but just wanted to let you know that some of these scores are like 1% off for the Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores, but I have notated in the video, I recorded the audio for this like right when the nominations came out, but I started editing like maybe a week ago, so things have changed a little bit, but I've notated it, and so just wanted to give you a heads up. But other than that, enjoy the video. The 2024 Oscar nominations are out, and I wanted to talk about them. I want to make my predictions, see how many I can get right, but probably get most of them wrong, honestly. I'm going off of the list given by the Oscars website if you have any questions about the order that I am presenting the movies. I will be totally transparent as well. I have yet to see all the Oscar-nominated movies, so I am going to approach this prediction objectively for at least parts of it. Specifically for the Best Picture, I'm going to be taking a look at the movie's scores on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and then how many Oscar nominations the movie has in total. And then for the actor and actress nominations, I'm just going to be taking my best guess. Those are the main ones that I'll be focusing on, and I'll just rapid fire at the end the rest of the nominations, guess all of my predictions for all the categories. Just so you know, all 10 of the films that I'm about to list have been nominated for Best Picture, so when I list through all of the award nominations, I'm not going to list Best Picture because we all know they've been nominated for that already, but when I total the amount of nominations, I will be including the Best Picture nomination. First film is American Fiction. I have seen this movie, kinda. I might have fallen asleep for like 15 minutes in the middle of it, but for what I was awake for, I really did enjoy this movie. The comedy was really good throughout. It's got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 82% on Metacritic. Jeffrey Wright was nominated for Best Actor, Sterling K. Brown nominated for Best Supporting Actor, which all I could think about when he was talking was Lieutenant Matthias from Frozen 2. The score was nominated for Best Original Score, and finally was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. Next, we've got Anatomy of a Fall. I have actually seen this film and I did a review for it. I enjoyed the movie and can recognize why it has been nominated. It was really long and kind of slow, but the story was really interesting. Frustrating that we didn't get a conclusive ending to Who Killed the Father, but apparently that was the point of the movie. Anatomy of a Fall has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 86% on Metacritic. Sandra Hüller was nominated for Best Actress, Justine Triet for Best Director. The film was nominated for Best Editing, and finally Best Original Screenplay. Next film, we've got Barbie. This is the only movie on the list that I have seen more than once. I would say it's still worthy of its spot on the Oscars list, but it feels more like a movie compared to the other films. The music is most memorable for me from this film. A lot of the actors in this movie were actors I've seen in many other movies, which makes them and the movie more memorable for me. It has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 80% on Metacritic. Ryan Gosling was nominated for Best Supporting Actor and America Ferrera nominated for Best Supporting Actress. It was also nominated for Best Costume Design, Best Original Song twice, one for I'm Just Ken and What Was I Made For, Best Production Design, and Best Adapted Screenplay. Next film, we've got The Holdovers. This film was surprisingly good. I went into the film not knowing what I was watching, mainly just watched it because a friend of mine said it was probably going to get nominated for Best Picture. Paul Giamatti was great. Dominic Sessa did a great job considering he'd never been in a movie before. It was just a good, wholesome film with good character arcs. The film's plot was mainly the development of the characters and their relationships with each other. I've only seen it once, but would definitely watch it again. It's got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 82% on Metacritic. Paul Giamatti was nominated for Best Actor and Davine Joy Randolph nominated for Best Supporting Actress. The film was also nominated for Best Editing and Best Original Screenplay. Killers of the Flower Moon. This movie was crazy. So good. Lily Gladstone, amazing. Literally, get this woman an Oscar. Leo did great. You've got Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser for some reason. This film was long, but I didn't question the length. Every moment was needed. The ending even felt kind of rushed, and it was already almost a 3.5-hour movie. Performances were great. Music was great. Aesthetically, the film was great. Story was great. It was all great. So far, this film is the one with the most nominations. Robert De Niro for Best Supporting Actor, Lily Gladstone for Best Actress, Cinematography, Costume Design, Martin Scorsese for Best Directing, Editing, Original Score, Original Song, and Production Design. It's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% on Metacritic. Maestro. I watched the beginning and the end of this film, and I did fall asleep for the entire middle part, but I saw the end. It's got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 77% on Metacritic. Bradley Cooper was nominated for Best Actor, Carey Mulligan for Best Actress. The film was also nominated for Best Cinematography, Makeup and Hairstyling, which makes sense with the intense aging from all of the characters, Sound, which also makes sense for a movie about music, and Best Original Screenplay. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer received 3 more nominations than Killers of the Flower Moon. I am not a huge history buff. I think if I knew more about history, this film would have been more enjoyable. All the performances was really good. There were some parts that were uncomfortable to watch for sure, and yes, I did fall asleep for like 20 minutes during this movie, but it didn't really feel like I missed much, and a couple of friends and myself did Barbenheimer, so we had already sat through Barbie Barbie, and then we're watching Oppenheimer at like 2 in the afternoon, which is the normal time every day that I just want to take a nap. But I think this movie has a really good chance of winning just based on the amount of nominations. It received a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% on Metacritic. Cillian Murphy was nominated for Best Actor, RDJ nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Emily Blunt for Best Supporting Actress. The film also received nominations for Best Cinematography, Costume Design, a directing nomination for Christopher Nolan, film editing, makeup and hairstyling, original score, production design, sound, and Best Adapted Screenplay. So far out of the list, this film is the strongest contender for winning Best Picture. Past Lives. I watched this entire film and did not fall asleep, and I love this movie. This movie is beautifully tragic, but not tragic at the same time. It's the sad truth that change happens, past opportunities are gone, options that could have been are gone. These characters cannot have what they had, and not because anyone did anything wrong. Like, her life now is great, but still having this guy come back, representing her past life in Korea, and then wanting to come back into her life. This film was amazing, performances amazing, music subtle but amazing. This movie has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94% on Metacritic. Though I absolutely love this film, it does only have 2 nominations, Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay, so the chances of it winning Best Picture are somewhat low. Next we have Poor Things. I know absolutely nothing about this film other than the fact that Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo's in it, and the costumes are supposed to be amazing. It's aesthetically a beautiful film. It's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 87% on Metacritic. Mark Ruffalo was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Emma Stone for Best Leading Actress. The film was also nominated for Best Cinematography, Costume Design, a directing nomination for Yorgos Lanthimos, Best Film Editing, Makeup and Hairstyling, Original Score, Production Design, and Best Adapted Screenplay. Literally know nothing about this movie, but there's the facts. Last, but certainly not least, we have The Zone of Interest. I know nothing about this film. It received a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 90% on Metacritic. Jonathan Glazer was nominated for Best Director. The film was nominated for Best International Feature Film, Sound, and Best Adapted Screenplay. Okay, so looking at the numbers, because I've just said so many facts and we've got to keep them all on track, the film with the most Oscar nominations is Oppenheimer with 13. It goes Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, Maestro, which they both have 7, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, The Zone of Interest, they all have 5 nominations, and finally Past Lives with 2 nominations. Based on nominations, I would say Oppenheimer will probably win Best Picture, but based on the average of the Rotten Tomatoes score and the Metacritic score, Past Lives comes in at first. After Past Lives, the list goes Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, The Zone of Interest, Poor Things, The Holdovers, American Fiction, Barbie, and Maestro. Based on this information, the Oscar nomination could go to Past Lives. Based on my personal preference, I hope Past Lives wins. Okay, so that was everything that I looked up based on the numbers. Now I'm just gonna rapid fire go through who and what film I hope wins the nomination. Actor in a leading role, I hope Paul Giamatti gets it because I made a bet with my friend and Paul's gotta win so that I can win the bet. Actor in a supporting role, I think it'd be hilarious if Ryan Gosling won, but I think it should probably go to either Robert De Niro or RDJ. I have seen everyone's performance except for Mark Ruffalo's performance in Poor Things, but honestly all these actors were great. Actress in a leading role, you gotta give it to Lily Gladstone. Actress in a supporting role, I'd say Emily Blunt because I like her as an actor, but both Davine Joy Randolph and America Ferrera did really well in their roles. Best animated feature film, it's gotta be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That was a crazy movie, really enjoyed it. Cinematography, I mean probably Oppenheimer, but Killers of the Flower Moon was a crisp movie to watch, so it could go either way. Costume design, probably Poor Things, just because I've heard the costumes were amazing in that film, but also Barbie had really intentional costume design as well, so it could go to Barbie. Directing, it's probably gonna be Christopher Nolan, but Killers of the Flower Moon was so good, I wouldn't be shocked if it was Martin Scorsese. I haven't seen any of the documentary feature films, nor have I seen any of the documentary short films. Film editing, I'm gonna guess Killers of the Flower Moon. It was a pretty long movie, but it didn't feel long, and I think that can be attributed to good editing. Haven't seen any of the international feature films. Makeup and hairstyling, probably Maestro, because they had to age Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan by a lot of years. Music, original score, Killers of the Flower Moon had a really good score. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, the score from that is just classic, honestly, so I'm gonna say Indiana Jones. Music, original song, I'm Just Ken, we all know it's probably that song. Production design, probably Barbie, because there was a lot of specific things about the set that were a reference to years of Mattel and Barbie. Haven't seen any of the animated short films or live action short films. Sound's gotta be the creator. That movie's sound design was insanity. Visual effects, either the creator or maybe Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Adapted screenplay, probably Oppenheimer. Well, no, I'm gonna say American Fiction. That had a really good screenplay. Original screenplay, I'm gonna hope it's Past Lives, because that's just a great film, and I hope it gets the recognition it deserves. Let me know your predictions, and thanks for watching.
I'm just kidding.